Welcome back to the podcast.
Are you triggered yet?
We are in the basement.
We're in an undisclosed location.
I just disclosed it.
Yeah, but what basement? In what country? In what house? Or building? Or bunker? We're preppers.
Preppers? Are those the people who are like waiting for the end of the world? And, like,
not necessarily the end of the world, but like the fall of
humanity as we know it.
When shit hits the fan. Yeah. I know some preppers, so I'm good.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not telling you who.
I'm so curious. Like, who do I go to? I'm just gonna go run in the woods, but
naked.
in this in this undisclosed location, there's not a lot of woods.
You just gave it away.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Also, this is kind of exciting. The first time we've recorded an episode that was long enough that we felt it necessarily to split it into 2 parts.
Yes. Just so we didn't have to record another one. No, I'm just kidding.
Kind of.
But
it just worked
felt
out.
like there was so much information because we dig a lot into the health stuff. There was so much information. We're like, well, maybe we can just split this in half and just do it 2 separate ones because it's honestly probably a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, if you're not on the same health journey as us, and you're just like, whoa, like that was a lot. Some interesting things were brought up. I don't know in this part or the next part, but there's so much.
Yeah. We will forewarn you that part 1 has a lot of animal action.
Especially at the beginning, right?
Yeah. So if it triggers you or if it annoys you, just skip it or grow up.
It's a lot of Miller. He had a lot of energy,
But the episode prior, there was no peep from a dog, and
this is the very first one.
I think so.
There's always Miller chewing a bone or something.
Well, actually, when we had our studio,
oh, I miss our studio.
a moment of silence for our studio.
For Bonnie,
who's on she's on vacation till spring, which is soon approaching.
I cannot believe that.
I can't wait to have our studio back and to have another raccoon.
Yeah. Now people know you're the one to bring them to.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in part 1, we discussed, so I guess this episode,
I was asking Kristen questions about maybe like certain things about that she recommends for our health, like regarding sleep. We talk about parasites, of course, which is like her area of expertise.
Except I'm not an expert in this area at all, but
we're learning about it, and it's really interesting. I asked her about her specific health journey, which I know we've touched on in previous episodes, but honestly I learned something about her that I didn't even know, so that was fun. Kris gives one of her favorite health book recommendations, or 2 kind of. You dropped 2, which were very good. And of course we touched on energy healing, because that is one of your areas of interest.
yes.
And I love talking about energy. I think it's so interesting. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me everything you know about it.
I love anything that's, well, I was just saying to Amanda today, how when you ask the universe or your guides for a sign and you get one that's just like, wow, that's amazing. It's just, every time it's so beautiful and I'm just so amazed. And I don't know why, it just never gets less amazing.
That's so true.
It's always just so magical, and I love it.
Every time you get a sign, you're just like, oh, it's just like, yeah, what you said, magical. It feels like when you're a kid and you're waiting for those, like, you're like, oh, I can control things, like, that's gonna come over here. Like,
ooh, what is that one? Madeline? No.
Matilda?
Yes!
Yeah, like, you want to have powers like Matilda, and now it's like we feel like we really honestly have powers.
And if you don't know who Matilda is, she's the one who could move stuff with her eyeballs.
If you don't know who Matilda is,
grow up.
Get a life. Like, what? How do you not know? Apparently there's like a new version of Matilda. I don't know.
I feel like it would be fun to watch that movie again, but the
I've watched it
original.
so many times. I can't
Really?
even watch it. Yeah, I've
I
seen it
didn't.
so many. I'm just like, I can't. Yeah.
Is that an area of interest for you? Telekinesis. Is that
I don't know.
telekinesis? That's when you can move objects with your mind, right?
I used to want to do that, but
It's
I feel
a thing.
like
You can go to class. I don't know what called class. The thing where people go and they do it together.
I'd say a class.
That's not the word I'm looking for, but whatever.
Okay. A meeting?
No.
A certification.
A clubhouse sandwich.
Gotta be invited to the club.
House sandwich.
Yeah, that was the majority of like what we talked about in this part 1, and then part 2, there's more. Like, there was just so much good stuff. I loved it.
Okay, so without further ado,
Enjoy this one, and if you liked it, feel free to stick around for next week's part 2. Yeah. Enjoy!
goodbye.
We haven't showered in 5 days, manifested anyway. Every day's a payday. Wait, what the fuck did Kris just say? Messy's in the hole, I bet. Come hang out with our furry friends. Courtney's gonna leave again. Are you triggered yet?
We have a fun one for you today. I said that in a very, very monotone voice.
It's gonna be so fun. You guys are
You
gonna
guys
just
are gonna
jump with
love
joy,
it.
and we can't wait for you to listen to it. So let's get into it.
You might talk like that the whole episode. There are definitely like podcasts I listen to. I'm like, I can't do it. Or there's been some guests and they're like really like popular, famous people, and they're like I can't listen to them. It's hard. Okay, the reason why this is going to be a fun episode is because today is the day that we interview Kristen on all of her health stuff. We're going to see what she knows. We're going to test her knowledge. No, I'm just kidding.
And don't get too excited. I probably don't know. No, let's not even affirm that. I know all.
Oh, no, Miller. You know a lot, and I think you're probably like, well, there's so much more that I don't know. It's one of those things, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so much further than like I am on this path, and I just think it's really interesting. Like, I get all of my health stuff from Kristen. She's my go-to. There's multiple people that like, they have a question, they ask Kristen. They're coming to her. So I made a list of some questions I would like to ask you today. So, let's just dive right in. And I want 2 tips for getting a good night's sleep. One of them, I want it to be what you found was the most surprising for getting a good night's sleep. And then also what you think is probably the most beneficial in your opinion. Maybe most beneficial for you, for the people that you've talked to about sleep, just in general.
The most surprising, I think, is blue light. Like, not being in blue light before bed. Like, limiting my screen time. I will wear my blue blocker glasses, which half the time they're so fucking smudged.
Oh, every time I ask to borrow hers, she's like, you might want to wipe those off. There's a reason why I switched from those pair to this pair. Like, they're so grimy, and it's like looking through a cloud. Like, you can't see anything. It's disgusting.
I now refer to them as my smudgies. So, I remember when I first learned about blue light and artificial light and how much it messed up your circadian rhythm and
yeah. Is it like just screens, or is it
any artificial light, any kind? So like lamps.
Hi.
Oh, thanks. Fires are good because that's like red light.
Oh yeah. I've heard that. I don't know if you told me that or.
So fires are okay, and candles are great. That was the most surprising to me, and especially now, if I am under bright lights, for a couple hours during the evening that night, like I will be damned if I sleep. Like it's just I cannot sleep for the life of me.
See, I feel like it doesn't always affect me. But would you say it's more of like consistent if you're doing it more consistent? Like if you just do like, let's say I'm on my phone a little bit later one night because I try not to go on it like while I'm in. But there's some times where I'm researching things and like I'm just like, I love to research. So like there's times where I'm up like right before I go to bed, I'm on my phone and then I go to bed and like I have no issues. But would you say it's like more consistent?
I would say,
or does it depend on the person?
I don't know. I think on a cellular level, I'm just saying that to sound smart.
I love it. Carry on.
On a cellular level, I think it affects your, you're messing up my train of thoughts.
Miller's just all over the place.
Because I stole his jewel and it's behind this magic box.
Oh, right.
So, I think it affects like your circadian rhythm and maybe the deeper goings on of like your cellular health and stuff. But maybe you're okay to sleep at night. But I do know, I feel like we've noticed ourselves, like when you're limiting how much artificial light you're under and also using lamps that are lower and not using like the ceiling lights. When you're under ceiling lights, they are just extra bright and you feel like so dramatic. But I'm just like a vampire who's like someone opens the door and there's light and I'm like, Arr!
I totally understand
It's so terrible. I can't stand it and I try to just not let it bother me when I'm at other people's houses and their bright lights are blinding my brains.
Miller, go lay down. Thank you.
You have an
boy. He's Ollie's hair all over
that
his
is
face.
a piece of grass.
Okay, never mind. That was
Good
grass.
job. Small but no job.
Oh my goodness. I haven't
Okay, so that was like half of that question. That was the most surprising.
Okay, the blue light, yes, how that affects your circadian rhythm and all that. What do you find is the most beneficial maybe for you?
Blackout curtains.
Oh my god, that's a good
fucking,
one.
I can't have any light is so annoying.
See, I can get away because the curtains I have in my room right now, they're not blackout. They do a pretty good job, but they're not blackout. And I feel like I sleep pretty well. But whenever I go to mom's and I sleep in your old room, and I've had to almost like, there's been times where I don't put the blackout curtains over the window.
I put it halfway.
Because then it's like, then I won't wake up because I'll just keep something. Well, at that time my body needs it too. So if I'm there for consistently for a small, like a longer period of time, I will eventually like not sleep in as much. But I find that that really makes a big difference for me sleeping.
I crash so hard at mom's. I don't know what it is. Like I can have
crash in your
coffee,
room.
be under blue light, and just crash.
I feel like for me, it's only when I'm in your old room. So something about that room. The
It's
energy.
It's it.
is.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my health things. Also, being mindful of eating before bed. I eat toppable crackers. I love them. I do not do all these things perfect, but having
That's
an
a good
empty
point
stomach
to say.
is that, so your body is focusing on regenerating and healing and taking out the toxic waste from your brain. Toxic waste. But like, the
toxins.
Yeah, from your brain
We pick
while
up
you're
toxins.
sleeping. But if your body's
Okay.
focusing on digesting while you're sleeping, well then you're not going to get that same cellular repair. And then also,
Can I say-
your
sorry,
phone.
finish.
Keep your, like, EMFs.
Oh, there's so much.
Put your phone on airplane mode or turn your Wi-Fi router off at night. Like, it's such... You might not notice it because I can still sleep when the Wi-Fi is on, but I don't know. I haven't really kept track of how I feel in the morning in comparison, but
Well, there's the thing like you might not notice it, but doesn't mean it's not affecting you,
Yeah.
because it could show up in other ways. Like maybe you're a bit, like after a little bit, maybe you're a little bit grouchy, or not you specifically, but I think that there's different ways it can show up. You might not just notice it. Like I was reading the one book that you have, and they were talking about a light source, because they recommend like fully blacked out room, but they're like, if you might not even notice that a small light is affecting how much deep sleep you're getting, how much REM sleep you're getting. So they did some tests of like having a light where it wasn't even in their vision. Like they couldn't see this light, but it was like they put this light on the back of their leg or something. And it affected how much sleep, how much good sleep they got.
Yeah.
It was just wild. Just little things that you might not notice.
Or like when.
Okay, we'll talk about that later, whenever that is. I wanted to talk about my most beneficial thing for sleeping.
Okay.
I need a lot of exercise. And I find what I am not, like I know it's not a surprising thing, it's probably something everyone realizes, but it is so important. Like if I'm not getting enough, if I'm not burning the energy that I have throughout the day, I cannot sleep. That's probably one of the biggest things. Like I have to burn the energy. I have to exercise every single day, unless my body is like just needs rest. Sometimes I can get away with that, like but my body, like I think everyone's like that, we need to burn it off. I don't know. Not that I'm always great at getting the best exercise, but I try to at least get.
You do more exercise than everyone in this household put together.
Yeah, but there's a difference between like you move around a lot all day, where if I'm doing like
that was really was that you couldn't do it?
he attempted to jump up on the couch or the chair, but he
come in, it's okay. Okay, good boy, good dog.
So like consistent
job.
consistent movement throughout the day is actually more beneficial than doing like one workout and then sitting all day. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so interesting. Anyways, okay. I know we've touched on.
Sorry, guys.
For people who are watching the video, Kristen cut her stomach before, and this is why
I broke 2 wine glasses and one fell upon me.
Yes, it attacked her. Actually,
you attacked me. It was a wine glass that said you.
So funny. Okay, I know we've talked about parasites before, but I want to know, what do parasites have to do with our overall health and well-being? Like, I know your answer, but maybe for people who haven't heard the previous episode, I don't know which one we talked about it.
I feel like I'm always like adding little.
You are from the beginning. You've always talked about
parasites are. Honestly, parasites are good to some extent, because if you didn't have parasites in your body, the abundance of heavy metals that you're being bombarded with from everywhere in the air, from chemtrails, in the water, in the food, in the soil, I could go on and on. The heavy metals are from your cookware, coming from everywhere. And if you didn't have the parasites to grab onto them, they would kill you, which is really cool. But the parasites, because our bodies are so much more acidic and, you know, we're not listening or following our circadian rhythms, we're staying up later and using artificial light, and we're not connected with the earth and grounding and all the things.
The healthiest.
Like eating.
We're not setting our body up
for success. Like it's basically making your body a welcoming home for parasites to overpopulate, and then that escalates into literally every health problem you can think of. Parasites are an underlying cause. I guarantee if you do a heavy metal detox and a parasite cleanse, your symptoms will alleviate.
No matter what symptoms you have. I would say emotional too as well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like fatigue, just chronic fatigue. That's one thing I battle with sometimes, is I just feel so, not like I'm tired, but like my body, I don't know what it is. It's mostly like I get it in my legs. I don't know what it is, where my legs just feel like they don't have the energy. Like my upper body's got all of it, but my legs are like, we don't have it. It's like I honestly have no idea. I've been trying like healthy eating. I try exercise. I think exercising has helped me, but I don't think that's the main like cause like lack of exercise. So we're on this like interesting journey of toxic or heavy metal cleanse. So we'll see how
our cats are doing it too, and Danny Shmew puked on the floor this morning.
she did.
Yeah.
Were there any parasites in it?
Not that I could see, but it might have been. I'm not sure what that was about. Anyways, my cat puked. A little update on our detox.
Yeah. I haven't noticed any parasites coming out of any orifices yet. So, anyways, anything else that you'd like to say about parasites before we move on?
Parasites. If you have a heartbeat, you have parasites.
Yeah. So don't like freak out. Like, oh my god, I need to get these. Like,
they've been living in you forever.
Yeah, it's like bacteria. We've had we all have good and bad bacteria.
It's me.
It's just when our balance gets out, when it gets unbalanced, that's when things cause problems. Oh, hi, do you want up here? Here you go. Up.
Come in.
There we go.
Who's in the show? Lay down.
Perfect.
Not sorry. I don't give a shit.
I feel like there's been a lot of noises for the people listening. But it's fine. I don't want your butt in my face. Lay down.
I don't want your brown eye looking at me.
Don't want to look eye to eye. That way. Okay. You're so funny, Ollie. Okay. What is your journey of health? I know you've talked about your journey with like intertwined with Greg's, but maybe like your specific journey with health and maybe what got you on that journey. What is your personal journey?
My personal journey is Greg.
All right. What about before that? Were you not interested in all of that before?
I never ever. No, it wasn't until.
Really?
It wasn't until.
Did not know this.
Yeah, when Greg was sick with black mold, and we couldn't figure it out, and I went to the hospital. He had all these tests, and doctors, he's healthy. I'm like, you want to tell me this 44-year-old man who can't walk and is using a walker? Like, we had rented a walker because he could not get around. It was so terrifying, especially the doctors not having any idea, but I'm honestly glad that they didn't find anything and then treat, because I would have been like so down for any of like the treatment that they would have offered. I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. Whereas now I wouldn't.
You wouldn't even go to the hospital.
No.
So that is so interesting. because we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about on the podcast, so like, oh my god, Ollie's adorable. So yours and Greg's paths are so intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes perfect sense that he would be like your initiation into the health, which is such a huge part of your like future. Like we all know it. Like it's so interesting.
I also feel like, I was thinking about it this morning, I think that it might be Greg's next path too.
Interesting.
Because I was just thinking about Christina the channel, how she had all these different health problems that she had to solve for herself, and using like nutrition and everything else, and then energy healing. Well, Greg has had like the mold issue, and now he's having like a skin issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm like, why is this, like, I don't want, please don't make me help people with skin and mold. Mold is so hard. But maybe that's Greg's path.
Yeah, he can help people with that.
I don't know, I feel like, because he definitely, he's so smart, he learns so much. I don't know, it's interesting. I'm really curious of where our lives are going to go in the next few years.
I'm so curious about Greg's path. Mm-hmm. Like, I know he's like he's so smart. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just meant for big things. And I'm like, I can't wait to see like which direction it takes. Yeah. Because there's like multiple ways it could go. And I'm like, I'm so excited. I feel like he's meant to speak. And I don't know why I think that. Because he's really good at it. And he's a double Leo, so like expression of self is huge.
He's so good at speaking and just like winging the wrong number.
But he's just like, I don't know, he's just really smart in that, not that area, every area, but like, so it'd be really interesting to see what this health thing, where it's going to take him.
I think, yeah.
I'm
It'd be
excited.
so cool to host retreats, like couples retreats
Oh,
for help and like
oh my god.
energy healing and like, oh my gosh, I could learn
So
about
cute.
like sacred sexuality and all of that fun stuff.
Oh my god, I would be so interested in that too.
It'd be so amazing. There's so many possibilities, guys. Our brains are just excited.
We want to do we want to do retreats, but I think every one that we do will be so different because like, well, we have to try this.
Yeah.
And like it'll evolve and it'll just be very unique. I haven't been to a retreat yet, but I feel like there's so many different ways we could do it, and I don't know, I've looked at retreats and I haven't seen too many.
I feel like I don't even need to go to a retreat to know that.
Oh, no, absolutely. You don't have to. You could do it.
Yeah, and we're going to do some practice ones. Really excited. So excited.
Anyways, once that becomes open to the public, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
In about a year. Okay. What is your favorite health book? I know this is probably a hard one because there's so many. What's your favorite?
I need to look at my books. My favorite health book? Which one do I resort to the most?
Yeah, which one's your Bible?
Reflexology used to be.
Is that
Honestly,
reflexology for dummies or?
No, it's just reflexology.
Okay, she's called reflexology.
I forget what. There might be more to the title, but it's like your everything you need to know. And I think it was so helpful. That was the first health book I read, and I literally called it my Bible.
I love it.
But now I think my favorite health book would have to be Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life.
Oh, that one is so good.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me into another question. It's not the next one I had, but we will go into this one. How important do you think it truly is to deal with our emotional body when we're working on our health, our general health?
I think it's 100. Like it's more important, if anything.
More important.
I would think so. Yeah. Well, you think about people who are, you see an elderly lady, she's 100, she's sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking a whiskey, happiest woman you've ever met, just full of love and laughter, and she's just, yeah, full of life, whatever. She's, had a good life, she's not holding on to a bunch of misery and suffering, and she's alive, and she's just, she's not able to store, like, her body is able to heal itself because it's not in a state of dis-ease from stored traumas and emotions. I think it's more important.
Now that you say that, I'm reminded of a conversation we had about someone that we know who's, like, very just, like, the happiest person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how are they not having health issues from what they do on a daily
What they
basis?
consume and...
But they're, like, they're good. Like, they're just good. And it's like, that makes so much sense. Like, and plus, I don't know if we've talked about this before in the pod, how, like, you can also, like, put on weight as a protection mechanism when you're holding on to, like, traumas, emotional baggage, like, any of that. Like, I've done it 100%, and it's just so easy to get into that, not habit, but, like...
This is the first, I want to say winter, where I definitely notice, since I've done a lot of work around self-love, this is the first year, like, I still, like, I'm a lot less active during the winter, and I've lost some of my muscle tone, but I haven't really put on weight, which I should have by the amount of, like...
Coconut cream donuts,
chocolate, and pizza that I've been eating. Like, I don't eat it all the time, but like
every
once a week. Chocolate every day, pretty much. It's my morning ritual.
Yeah.
But it's organic dark chocolate.
I definitely feel like, the self-love thing is huge, because if you're beating up if you're just, like, constantly tearing yourself down. Like, your body's gonna be like, all right, yeah, you're right, I don't look good. Then, you know, that's what it's gonna feel like for you. You're not gonna feel good. Did you have anything else to say? I don't even know what question that was.
No.
Okay, let's go into more of like emotional body, energy body. Energy healing. We've talked about this before. What do you think are the benefits of energy healing, and like why would someone say I need to go to an energy healer? I know what I want to, because it's just like I'm curious about that stuff, and I'm like I wonder how much that would help me what I'm currently releasing. So I'm already doing energy work. But someone who just comes across like, hey, someone says like, hey, you should go do Reiki. It's like, oh, well, tell me why. Like, what would that do for me?
Okay, just going at it like someone who's never gone to Reiki, I would 100% you should try it, and you should try it more than once, like 3 times, I would say. 3 sessions. And because I feel like once the first session, I feel like you're gonna be like, what is this? And feel a little, I don't want to say guarded, but like it's unfamiliar, especially if you do the Reiki where it's the no physical touch. Like you're just laying there and you can feel them moving around you, and it can be kind of uncomfortable. Like the first session I had, I did have those feelings come up, and I feel like I wasn't fully open to feeling everything that was available for me to experience. And yeah, it is, when I went for the last Reiki session, I could literally feel her moving the energy. And the energy that you have in your, like your soul holds on to different memories from different lifetimes, if you believe in that. I do. It's true. I'm just kidding. So yeah, even just releasing, and okay, the way Ashley explained it to me was that, I'm forgetting, something you have a trunk. And over things keep getting put into the trunk. All your baggage, stuff gets put in.
Like memories, experiences.
And then you just have this really heavy trunk.
You're dragging it around.
And the wheels falling off. The handle's broken. That is the worst. Have you ever had that happen at the airport? It's not very fun, especially when the bag weighs 85,000 pounds. I wonder if Greg will remember this. There's no way he won't. Anyways, so yeah, it's just a way for a practitioner to help you release some of that baggage that you've collected over the years, lifetimes, dimensions, timelines.
So on a very like tangible level, like if I go in to do energy work, like I've done this, I kind of know, but like let's say for someone who doesn't really know, if like I go in, I come out, what can I expect to experience differently after the session? Like, what's going to be different?
It'll be different for every person. There's people who might not experience anything, because sometimes there will be that, I feel like it's possible for there to be a little bit of a lag between the energy work and for you to actually experience feeling differently. Maybe it's just you're able to sleep easier at night, or maybe an emotion that would normally, or a situation that would normally get you really upset isn't as triggering to you, and you're able to see it from a different, more calmer perspective. Or maybe, I don't know, the options are so endless, and I feel like energy work, trauma work is at like the root. That, along with heavy metal and parasite cleanses, are the that's my protocol. That's the
energy work.
Are you triggered yet? Protocol.
Easy peasy, 30-day plus 100 more days. Anyways, we should do, I guess we haven't done an episode on my experience of Reiki. I had my very first Reiki session. So maybe we should do an episode on that. That might be fun. And like what has gone on in our sessions that we've done.
All right. Thanks for listening to part 1 of our first part 2 series of What the Hell Does Kristen Know About Health?
Oh, so fun. Honestly, I think it was so good asking you questions that it's like getting your personal opinion. It's like, yes, it's so good to have like people who've like done this work for decades, absolutely, but it doesn't mean that there's not valuable information from people who are in the process of learning. Like, you've been learning for several years now, all this stuff, and it's like trial and error, but also what you're seeing because people are coming to you, and then you're also seeing what's improving, like how things are improving in their lives and like what works for them. And I think there's just so much value in what you know.
I feel like it was a really challenging episode for me.
Really?
Because I feel like there's so much, and it's hard for me to give just a like jot note, simple health tips, because there's so much, I don't know, I guess passion and knowledge behind it. I want to explain and go deep on all these topics, but it would scare everybody away. So here
Maybe not.
I don't know. The butt stuff might.
Wait, is that in this part?
No,
or?
it's in part 2.
Oh, something to look forward to. So, but yeah, thank you so much for listening or watching. I hope you watch part 2 or listen to part 2 because there's just so much more good stuff.
Is that the one where you talk about flagpoints?
I think that's the one where I talk about flagpoints. I'm not really sure, but enjoy that part. So
We did.
I was. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, thank you so much.